I met a Gypsy.
How do you feel about just the content landscape these days? Like I watch, yeah, good call.
Yeah.
I watch Balancing Act, and I go, thank God someone made this video. Like, thank you for not having 45 TikToks in a row.
Yeah.
You've always made, I'm sure there's an element of it at times, but you've always made the content that you wanted to make.
Yeah, it's striking that balance, obviously. And like the landscape changed so fast, like
crazy.
It's
man.
like, I feel like even the last couple months, I'm like, it's different than it used to be, you know? And like, I want to create something that feels like very whole and like thought out and curated. And sometimes that can't just be like a social video.
Yeah.
But then, like you said, it's like, you're like, is it even going to do well? And like when it does, you're like, thank God.
Yeah.
And then when it doesn't, you're like, crap. But like, at least it's still something I'm proud of. Like, I wanted to do it. I did it my way. Like, I can't be like bummed on that. But then it's like, it's taking that, like, you know, you're trying to also create a bit of a business and make it work. Cause like, I want to continue to make this stuff, but if it just doesn't, like, if no one wants to be involved or support it, then it's like, I don't get to do it at all. It's like, there needs to be a bit of a balance where you can find that line of like, it's working and you can continue doing it, but you still have control of like how the content is going to be shaped. So for me, I'm like, I look at it and I'm like, especially I would say right now, I'm like, it needs to evolve. Like there's something like I would like to do, like whether it's like separate from a lot of the stuff I'm already doing, or it's like there's something that like kind of like comes into it, or like maybe like how you market it and PR it behind all the content or before the content. Like there could be other ways to like infuse a little bit of like what's kind of catchy now and add that in there. But I don't want to just like take the format that's like the algorithm, like you said, and just be like, oh, this is it now. I'm not going to do that. I'm just doing this because that's what works and everyone's happy about that. It just doesn't work for me. It's kind of like, it's being challenged for sure. You know, it's like showing up to a slopestyle course and being like, I've never ridden this feature. I got to figure out how to trick this thing. You know, it's like, oh, they didn't tell us this was going to be here. We didn't get to practice this. Like, you know, it's like, it's annoying because you're like, why do they have to keep changing things?
Yeah.
But then but then you get through it and you're like, no, I'm stoked on this. I just got like a new creative window and like I learned something. So is frustrating as it can be, like it's changing as fast as it is, it sometimes leads to like, you know, cooler, better projects or whatever content, or just like new opportunities.
Yeah, because it's such a changing landscape now. And like, I mean, a Dream Ride video now, like I just don't see that getting 1 million views.
Even just like feature films, you're like, I love a feature film. Like if someone's like gonna pour their heart into like a full feature, and like, you know, if it's an action sports film and there's 12 athletes that are gonna put crazy video parts together, like I love that.
Yeah.
But you just know these days that that's just not, it's not a format that works. Like you'll never, like you can't just sit on content for I mean, you're never going to make a film in less than a year really at this point. So it's like, you're going to be working on this thing for a minimum a year. You're not going to like, you know, to keep it like nice and tight, you're not going to want to release social and
which means you're not
present.
Generating.
You're not feeding the machine.
Yeah.
And then it's like, then you have this one big release, but it's like, you maybe had impressions on a 45-minute video, hour-long video, but it got the same amount of views as your 45-second to 1-minute video on social. It's like, but it's like, how do you separate like, you know, this many people sat down for an hour and took in this like amazing piece versus like people were scrolling through and they kind of just like, they saw your content quick and kept scrolling, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, it's not, I don't feel like it's the same, like people don't digest it, those two things the same way.
Yeah, they
so it's
might
like,
be 100,000 views on each, but
yeah,
they're not
but when you
equal.
look at it black and white, like it's like, I'm reading the paper, you know, like as like a, you know, someone at a brand, they're like, well, what did this gain us? Like we did the same thing with this one social video. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think what people miss is what it does for the culture.
Yeah.
And like our generation, like we're a similar age, we grew up in a similar generation. Like my whole life was shaped by fuck, Chain Reaction,
100%.
you know what,
Yeah,
the Great Outdoors, all of these films, like the On the Pipe series, like Earthed, you know, like, dude, that's my fucking life. Like my music taste, Steel Roots, like everything that like was so much of who I am is because of those films. And like friends of mine, you know, like I new friends that come into your life and you bond over, bro, you're a Steel Roots kid, like you're a Krusty's guy, like this is
totally,
how you get in a car, you get in a rental car together and you're just like Mini Warriors 4 playlist, like fuck, let's go. So I get so worried nowadays that it's like from the business's perspective that like, yeah, I get that things need to perform right now, but it's like, what responsibility do we have to the culture?
Yeah.
Like, what are the kids like? Is there going to be a kid that wants to ride a bike like you, or is we just going to end up with 3 million dickheads on Suron? But like, I mean, and to that, like, there's some dude on YouTube. I don't know if you've seen him, Suronster.
No,
bro, the guy gets like fucking 1 million views a upload, and he just wears a helmet with a GoPro and a mic, and like you never see his face, and he just uploads Suron content, and the dude's getting 1 million views a video.
That's
and I'm
crazy.
just like, what? Where are? I mean, good for him. Like,
Yeah,
obviously
100%.
rad, but it's like that. The landscape is so different now, and it worries me for the culture going forward.
I would 100% agree with that, and I would say like, I've thought about this recently. I'm like, I feel like something that's like that has more culture or is like more thought out, or like maybe, you know, it comes in a longer format, is still really important. I think like as we start to like steer away from that for like a longer period of time, I'm hoping to see it come back, because people are going to realize like, you know, like people are just like way too like just, you know, getting like, they're just getting so much like overwhelmed with like TikTok, Instagram, and it's like at some point it's like they need something they can like you would to sit down and, you know, and watch like a movie on Netflix or something, where you like, you take it in a bit more. And I'm like, we need that to kind of like infuse the sports with that culture again, and like things. I would hope that it comes back around, just because like I think 100% agree that all action sport needs that. Like any you know sport there is right now,
because that's what we're all built off.
So we're built off, and that's like where like I feel like you just learn more. Like it's like I feel like you don't, like you said, like the music and like maybe like the way people would like film things, or like the style people would like add to their video part. Like maybe they would bring in an aspect of their life to their video part, and that was like the creative and
and like a skit or a,
exactly. And it's like it kind of built the culture around the sport, and then it was like a talking point and this and that. Whereas like social, like you can't embody all that, and you know, this other short form content, but. Yeah, it's so tough. Like it's just hard to know. And then at the same time, I feel like the way that the content is going, I feel like it's changing how you need to like basically like the way you would do your sport as an athlete. Like it's almost like sometimes now like the craziest trick isn't the most impactful thing. It's like just how you could do something you've done 1 million times, but if you just do it like the right kind of way, and it's a short little moment, and you upload that to social, all of a sudden it's just crazy. Like, so I'm like, I feel like these like insane video parts are like almost becoming more risky than they were back in the day. Because in the back of the day, it was like you could build your whole career off like a crazy video part. But now it's like you could have a crazy video part and no one even watches it.
Yeah,
it's insane.
We're excited to announce the launch of our new membership site, gypsytales.com. packed with exclusive content and perks that you won't find anywhere else. This is your chance to become a part of the Gypsy Gang. And as a special bonus, if you sign up to an annual membership, you'll be entered into the draw to win our custom-built TC125. Gypsy Gang.